How's it going, people? Welcome back to Lee's channel. You know, it's a new one for me. It's a new one for me, but it is what it is. I'm obviously here every Monday now hosting a show. For the first few weeks, it'll be Lee as the guest. I think this week it'll be a very good debate. Obviously, with Lee being the guest and with the Aston Villa result, it's going to be interesting to talk about all of the problems still existing at the club, because me and Lee, we do know a lot of what's going on and we've seen it all before in a sense, but we do disagree here and there too. So we'll get into that shortly. But Lee, how's it going? Obviously, the people know you by now. We're 5 minutes late. That's not me.
No, do you know what? We're actually early because I normally go about 8 minutes late, so they're kind of used to it now. But yeah, it feels nice to actually be a guest. Like, instead of doing the run-in, and like, you know what it's like when you're talking to a camera, bruv, yeah, and you're sat on your own. Yeah. It's like, especially like, I do watch-alongs, as you know, yeah. When you're sitting there for 3.5 hours straight, bruv, it's draining, man. It is draining. People don't understand how draining it is. And then when you go and do player ratings on another channel, it's like, boy, 4 hours. You got square eyes, man. You come off of it, and you need 2 hours to get over it. It's mad, but yeah, I'm cool, man. It's just a shame our football club's not cool, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what it is. Obviously, touching on what you just said, listen, I respect you for what you do, because I've tried a couple of watch-alongs and it's not easy. You know, it's not easy to keep up. It's not easy to keep up with not only that, but the scheduling as well. You know me and my channel. You're one of the people that get onto me at times to say do more stuff. But you see me, I'm so inconsistent. Yeah, it's mad. So I have
to. At least you know that you're comfortable with that, innit? You're just like, yo, when I'm ready, I'll be more consistent, innit? Like,
yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. You know, obviously we've got a life to live too. So, you know, I have to take some time out sometimes. And yeah, days just fly by. You know, I thought lockdown slowed things down, but the way this year's just gone by, Lee, it's only getting quicker and quicker.
Hey, do you know what? I said this to my missus the other day, yeah? I said, this has been the quickest year I can ever remember. We're nearly at Christmas, bruv. Yeah, it seems like only a couple of weeks ago we were having lockdown before the Man City game. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's gone. It's rapid. But
Grant, he said he's calling for your retirement, Lee. He said the Chelsea fan Dan and Turkish have upgraded the channel. He said it's time to retire. It's time to call it a day. Just run the channel from behind. Be the Kroenke of the channel now.
I really spat that out.
Yeah. How's it going, people? How's it going, everyone in the chat? Love to see you here. But yeah, Lee, we might as well get into it because you just touched on it. I haven't really seen your reaction. Like I said, I got in late today, so I haven't really seen your reaction to the game. I can have a very good guess at what it is, but obviously I do want to hear from you and what you thought and what's going on.
Do you know what? I'm not even angry. Like, when I was doing the watch along with Chig, like, Chig was fuming. Yeah, he was going off on one, and I was just like, do you know what? Did we actually expect this to happen? Probably not. But are we surprised? Probably not. No. You know, it's I seen a couple of good stats today. That was the first time, somebody put it in the chat earlier, it's the first time Aston Villa have beaten us by 3 at our ground since 1928. 1928. Man's breaking records left, right, and centre, bro. The other week it was Leicester since 73. Now it's 28. But I wasn't, and I'm still not angry. Like, I've just been sarcastic with it all day when I've been doing my streams. Like, you know, I look at some of the performances yesterday, and I think, you know what? A lot of people were calling for El Neni to get a new deal. Like, really? Yeah, this is why I don't jump on a hype after a couple of games. You know, Hector Bellerin, for as good as he's been in the last couple of games, man got bodied, bruv. Like, he landed on the beach around the corner for me, bruv. Grealish sent him packing.
And you're only talking about that one little moment. Forget the rest of the game where he was missing and out of position and drawn into the wrong area.
Do you know what I found? Right, it was weird. I don't know if you clocked this when the game was on, right? Every time they were coming down Bellerin's side, because Bellerin like was either upfield like he normally is, Rob Holding was coming out, but then Bellerin was tucking in Rob Holding's position. Instead of doubling up, it was just Holding versus Green. He done that for the first goal that was disallowed. He was standing in the centre-back position. Then that got chalked off. And then the first goal that was allowed, it was the same again. And I'm like, is that something Arteta's telling him to do? Because he done it consistently. So I'm thinking, like, either you've been told to do that. If that's the case, why is our manager allowing Jack Grealish to go one-on-one with Rob Holding? Right? If he isn't telling him that, then what are you doing in the starting 11? Because for me, bruv, I've called this guy out for years, Bellerin. I don't rate him. Yeah, a couple of good performances don't fool me. Aubameyang, that's the first game he's had in the Premier League where he's not had a shot.
Not even a shot, you know.
He's got ozolitis, bruv. Like, it's mad. He's just walking around the pitch. He couldn't care less. Yeah, I said this earlier. I was like, man's on the phone after the game going, yo, babes, order the new Lambo. We'll get my man to wrap it, yeah? Like, he couldn't care less, bruv. Like, it's mad. But then I look at Lacazette. I've renamed him. He is the French Benteke. Yeah, I used to like Lacazette when he first came here. The first season under Emery, I thought, do you know what? You actually look like you're on it. You're on job. You're scoring against big teams. I remember his goal at the Emirates against Liverpool to get the 1-1. Yeah, he rounded the keeper cut back. What a finish. And he was scoring some big goals at big times. He scored in the semi-final. He scored the free kick against Napoli in the Europa League in the quarters. Yeah. Then he scored a couple of goals against Valencia in the semis. And he looked pretty decent that season. But I think the reason that is because although Aubameyang was still playing left, Emery gave him a bit more license to go, yo, don't worry about staying left and tracking back. You get up and join him. And they both teamed up and that bromance was there. It was all hype. Now it seems like he's just been told, you've got to stay on that left wing regardless. Yeah, and when we ain't got the ball, you track back. I've seen a couple of clips today where their first goal that was allowed, Aubameyang's in our penalty box. We had all 11 men behind the ball. Yeah,
we did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is, mate. I just look at it and I think, like, we're so boring to watch. We're so predictable. We don't create. We've got players in the team that shouldn't be getting a game. We've got players not in the team that should be getting a game. And then we just play this defensive, everyone calls it a low block. Well, it's not, it's park the bus. Yeah, when Jose was doing this, everyone laughed at him. Oh, he's parking the bus. Well, I'll take Jose's brand of football right now. That's that top. Yeah, or joint top. And they're smashing goals for fun. But I don't know, man. It's like, it's just boring. We're playing one of the best left backs in the league at centre back. And these are all things that in my head, I look at and I go, yo, we coated Wenger off for this, playing players out of position. Yeah. We coated Emery off for this. And I think the reason he gets a pass a little bit, Arteta, firstly, he won us the cup. But secondly, I think a lot more people want him to do well. So they give him a little bit less slack. But for me, I ain't like that. If you're crap, you're crap.
Yeah. No, and I understand that. You know, I think even though we do disagree on some points, I get it. You know, I understand everyone's frustration with Arteta right now because I want to see Aubameyang central. You know, I think it's time to drop Laka. I want to see Pepe starting above Willian. You know, you definitely saw the was it the pre-match press conference for the weekend when Arteta talked about Willian and the excuses he gave in terms of he's been inconsistent, he's getting used to this way, he's developing well, all the same reasons he could give Nicolas Pepe but chooses not to, you know. So there's gripes with me in this squad at the moment and the way Arteta's setting up, and even down to the setup against Villa, exactly the same as Man United. You know, we're at home, it's against a team that really we should be tucking away. If you do mean any sort of business in a season for top four, you tuck these teams away. You know, instead we got
when they've conceded 7 goals in 2 games before that. They were 4-1 down to Southampton the other day.
Yeah, wasn't it even 4-0? I think, but yeah, it might have been 4-1.
Yeah, they got battered 3-0 in the game before that. Yeah, and then Jack Grealish, the most fouled player in the Premier League since he's been in the Premier League, we didn't even tackle him.
No, we might as well get back to the first goal, which you mentioned, because Willian, first and foremost, gave the ball away needlessly.
I know you don't like him, innit? I remember your interview, yeah? When you went, and the guy behind you, and you went, perfect. Do you remember Bellerin nutmegging Mane?
Yeah.
But you get a lot of flack for Willian.
That day I mentioned Willian, that day I mentioned Ceballos, and that day I mentioned Bellerin, and I got a hell of a lot of stick for it. But I know that at the end of the day, these players might be able to do a job at the club, but it's not the job we expect them to do. You know, they're integral. They're not meant to be integral. You know, Willian's meant to come and help out. You know, be the icing on the cake. You know, Ceballos is meant to just come and work his way into a squad, be on rotation. He's not meant to. You know, what's Ceballos done since coming here a year and a half ago? Absolutely nothing. Transfer. But let's just get back into the first goal. Willian gives it away. Rob Holding fails to make a tackle. Bellerin, first, he tracked Target's run. Target came back in. He didn't track the second run. And that's how Target escaped him. And then he got the cut back and it was Saka on goal. Bellerin, Holding, Wenger era players. Lacazette missing a chance shortly after, a Wenger era player. You know, there's too many of them still in the squad, Lee. So as much as
do you know what, you're spot on, right? And I know you didn't want Willian here. And do you know what? Listen, when we signed Willian, he's not a player that I would have gone out and said, yo, let's go and get Willian. When we signed him, I was like, yo, Willian's actually all right. I do actually rate Willian from what I've seen at Chelsea. Chelsea fans were telling me, nah, just wait. Just wait till he comes, just wait. And I'm like, nah, I don't get why you don't like him. Bruv, I now fully get why they don't like him. He has been rubbish. Apart from Fulham, which was basically Mkhitaryan-esque. Debut, play well, disappear since. And it's kind of ironic that Mkhitaryan scored a hat-trick yesterday for Roma. Yeah, and Willian, I think Willian had 2 forward passes in that whole game. Yeah, he's coming in with all the experience. He's trying to... We all thought he was going to be the guy that, when we're winning a game, bring him off the bench when Pepe tires. Yeah, put Reece in. He can teach Reece the ropes.
Yeah, apply a bit of pressure to them.
Yeah, and it's like, it's mad. And then, like you said about Ceballos, yeah, all that guy's done since he's been here is score a quarter-final winner in the cup. That's it.
Yeah, Sheffield United, yeah.
It's mad. That's it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Let's touch on this super chat. Appreciate that, Jonathan. People are talking about top 4 like this team can do it. Realistically, what position can we say we are the best in the league that we demand top 4? I think you pretty much know the answer to your own question, hence the way it's put, you know, like this team can do it. We get more hope as fans from other teams. Before this season, I said, even with Thomas Partey, our chances of top 4, slim at very best. And that slim chance comes from hoping other teams fail, you know. And the season started, there's been inconsistent teams. Tottenham even, you know, they've scraped a couple games in the last few minutes with that. I think it was Brighton, the one the other day. So everything is fine margins right now. And 1 hour Tottenham are top, 1 hour Leicester are top. Southampton have been top, Liverpool, Everton, Aston Villa. This season so far has been mad. And that works in our favour, Lee. I think as mad a season as it's been, I think that works in our favour because that's what we've been for the last 10 years, mad. So if the rest of the league joins us in the madness, that can only improve our chances. What do you think?
Well, no, I think you've got a point. You've got a great point. I said this the other day. Like, this season started like the season Leicester won the league. Yeah, it's like there's not one runaway team, but it's mad because Villa slapped up Liverpool 7-2, but Liverpool was still top the other day, and it's like, how is like you got to try and digest that. But like you said, like when I look at Tottenham, for example. Yeah, they're top of the league or joint top with Leicester. They've got the best defense in the league with Leicester, and their second top scorer is 1 goal behind Chelsea this season. Chelsea ain't even clicked into gear yet with them signings. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if Chelsea get that right, they could go on a mad run and they can win the league. If Jose keeps them at a level of consistency at Tottenham, best believe they're in a title chase. Yeah, based on how it is now. Again, in 6 weeks' time, it might be completely different. But in terms of top 4 for us, no chance. I said when we signed Partey, I said that even if we signed Aouar and Partey, with this manager, nah. If we had a manager now, say we got Rafa Benitez in, for example, and we got him in now, I think we'll get top 4. Because I think he would have that experience. He'd pick the teams based on performance of the games they've played, not based on training, or contracts that they may have for bonuses. But I don't think we'll get top 4 with this manager. No chance for me. I think 8th at best, mate. Real talk.
And I get that. And I understand it. But what I want to ask you is, if you got your wish, and let's say Arteta was sacked, do you trust this board to get the man you want in?
Probably not. Probably. Do you know what I said? It's hard, right? Because if they sack him, they're basically admitting they cocked up again.
Yeah.
And the way they've peddled this guy out to us as fans, that is the next greatest manager in the making, I don't think they're going to sack him. Which is, for me, if it carries on like this, is to the detriment of the club going forward. But like you said, in answer to your question, I don't think if they do sack him, they have to get an elite manager. Yeah, or a really experienced manager, a bit of a journeyman, but has won trophies in 3 or 4 countries or something. Because if they don't, we're fucked. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that. You see on the performance yesterday, Arteta even said it in the post-match interview. It's the first time the players have just stopped and not bothered. Yeah, we see this under Emery. Yeah, we see this under Wenger. You know, they down tools. It's all well and good saying, oh, they won the FA Cup. Well, we won the FA Cup under Wenger. Yeah, against City and against Chelsea. Same route. And then we slapped City in the Community Shield. Giroud scored a screamer. You know, so we have been there and done that. And the mentality of some of these players, like you said, Holding, Bellerin, Laka, you know, Wenger players, you know, Granit Xhaka, Wenger player. Yeah, El Neni, Wenger player. There's 5 players straight away that are starters at this club.
Mustafi let us down last week coming off the bench. That's a Wenger player.
Kolasinac.
Maitland-Niles.
Last season. Maitland-Niles, I wouldn't class as a Wenger player. The same as Willock. Like the academy ones, I wouldn't necessarily class as Wenger.
Yeah, I get you. But with Maitland-Niles, I think Wenger started this utility man business and it hasn't left him. It's been a chip on his shoulder since.
He's never going to pin a position down, mate. Yeah, and then he'll leave and he'll look great when he leaves.
Well, we'll see. Let's get these super chats out of the way because I do want to carry on talking about this. Brandon, appreciate the super chat, bro. We may as well play with 3 defenders up top. Auba must be frustrated. His goals carried us all season, last season. Now he can barely get a kick. And Auba is to blame too. He does look frustrated and it does look like it pisses him off at the end of the game. You know, you can see it in his face. But, you know, he's the star man now. He needs to make it work too. What do you think about Auba right now, Lee? Obviously, we've talked about Arteta a bit. We'll get back onto that. But what do you think about Auba? Do you think he needs to take more ownership in this situation, or is it strictly Arteta, the way he's playing and how he's deployed?
There's 2 ways to look at it. If he's obviously being told stay on the left wing. If you can cut inside and have a shot, great. But when we ain't got the ball, you need to run all the way back that way. Let's be honest here. We've been big advocates of attacking players, tracking back. You attack as a team, defend as a team, yeah? We've moaned about Ozil for years, bruv, yeah, not doing the donkey work, right? Yeah. Aubameyang should have to defend, yeah? He should have to defend. But at the same time, we see him get a red card against Palace last season, yeah? He shouldn't be going in on a tackle on the halfway line in that instance, yeah? And that was on the right wing, not the left wing, yeah? So I look at it and I think, like, if Arteta's telling him, stay there, don't move, just work that line. And if you can cut in and have a chance, cool. Then you have to go, okay, cool. He obviously rates the manager because he's listening to him. Yeah. But at the same time, if I'm Aubameyang and I'm into the latter years of my career, I've just signed a big bumper deal with you. I was the 1 goal behind being Golden Boot winner for 2 seasons straight. I'm knocking on his door saying, listen, mate, I want to start up front. I want to be able to have a bit more license to do stuff because he is one of the best strikers in Europe. Leicester ain't going to play Vardy on the left wing. Kane ain't going on the left wing. Aguero ain't going left wing. It's crazy to think that we have got a top goal scorer whose movement in the penalty box is second to none. And we're making him defend and slide tackle at left back. It makes no sense to me. It genuinely don't. And, you know, I don't think it helps when we're parking the bus against everybody. But he's not a dribbler. He's not a ball carrier. He's not an aggressive footballer. You know, he's built like me, bruv. He's tall and skinny. Like, we got the gap and the overbite. You know what I'm saying? I'm not bruv. Yeah, but I just look at it and I think, like, we don't play to our strengths as a club anyway, as a team anyway. When I looked at Aston Villa, when I did my preview, I said, Ollie Watkins is everything we all think Lacazette should be. Yeah. Lacazette's always running back to the halfway line, taking the ball on his chest, falling over, waving his arms about and moaning. Ollie Watkins, the amount of times he spun off at the back of us yesterday and was in behind, that's what we should be doing. But Laka ain't got the speed to do that, which is why we should play Aubameyang there. And then you build the midfield behind that and play your Sakas, you play your Pepes, your creative sides. You play Tierney, who's a creator. Look at the cross he put on the plate for Laka.
Yeah.
If that's Giroud, that's in the back of the net.
Easy, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But for Aubameyang, if I was him, I'd be fuming. I don't think he is fuming. I think that he obviously buys into Arteta's plans. Yeah. And he stayed. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I've seen this with Ozil, and I'm not. It's way too early to even compare the 2 scenarios. But we could be sat here in a year's time with this guy barely getting 10 goals, and everyone going, "Well, why has he signed $300,000 a week contract?" That's not the case.
But I hope so too, Lee. You know, I completely agree with you. I think that Auba should be, you know, demanding a bit more ownership. I think if that's a bit more freedom up top or whatever that is, I think he needs to demand something. He's the captain at the end of the day, and in my opinion, he's led well by example since he's been here. He's not the captain I envisaged or want long term, but he's done well. But you're right. I think it's not going to work long term, and the problem is, even last season, towards the end of last season, I said to myself, and I said in a lot of my videos, I'll have to go back and check which ones, but I said, we've got a decision to make this summer with Oba and Laka, because it hasn't worked. You know, as much as people have cried for them two to be played together, Wenger tried, Emery tried, and then Arteta tried. It just hasn't worked. So whether Oba signs a new contract or not, that's the main thing. Would I give Oba over 300k? At the time, I said I wouldn't because of this whole Ozil thing and regretting it in the long run. But at the same time, I'm like you, I have to cross my fingers and hope that it's not the case. But I also know that at 31 years of age, you know, it's not getting any better.
Nope.
You know?
Let me ask you a question, right? I know it's your show, but let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If we had, say, Pep, Klopp, Jose, Ancelotti, any of them managers in charge, even Lampard and Ollie, do you think they're playing left wing? Consistently and make it rigid?
No, probably not. Probably not. And I say that because if we didn't have a backup, I'd say they would. But because we've got Saka there, who's growing so well and developing so well and has been our best attacking midfielder this season, yeah, I'd say Saka deserves his chance there and put Oba up top. And I think those other managers would probably do that. But the thing is, as well, is we opened up in that second half a bit because we had to chase the game. And you saw what happened defensively. We opened up there too. And that is the problem we face, Lee, you know.
But you know what? That's where you've got to look at the midfield and say, like, I know Partey going off was a big miss. Yeah, because even though I thought we were crap in the first half, he was probably our best player at that time, at half-time. And even he didn't have a great game. He was giving the ball away. He was sloppy. He was ball watching for the first goal.
For the own goal.
The danger. For the own goal. He didn't sniff the danger. He should have stepped over to his right-hand side. He didn't sniff any of that. He was ball watching. He weren't great, but when he goes off, that should not mean that the whole team in midfield collapses. I mean, bringing Danny Ceballos on, what's Joe Willock got to do to get a game? I don't particularly rate Willock, but based on his performances in Europa League, you got to say, boy, you should have been on the bench the last two games at least. Yeah, and then you can bring somebody on who's got a bit of physicality. Yes, he frustrates the life out of me because he holds the ball too long. What did Danny Ceballos actually do when he come on? Apart from just spin around and pass backwards.
Yeah, he had the clearance off the line, which I give him credit for, because I don't know why he's the one that's coming back on the line, but he done his thing there. Obviously, in hindsight, it didn't mean much. We still got bagged, but, you know, he did clear off the line. But aside from that, you'd expect more. It's Aston Villa at home. It's your second season in the Premier League. You know, it's the season you're meant to, you know, stand up and be counted now, because last season didn't go as well as you would have hoped.
And if you look at their team as well, right? The goalkeeper, you can always have that debate, yeah, with Martinez. Was he better than Leno? Who cares? Don't matter. He ain't here anymore, yeah? Personally, I loved him, right? Their right back, Matty Cash, he gets in our team all day long, yeah? Grealish, McGinn, and Barkley, even though he's not their player, he's Chelsea's, all three of them walk into our midfield. All three of them, yeah? And then their striker gets in all day long. That's 5 of their players. That's Aston Villa, bruv. It's crazy. And if you add up how much they cost, I mean, Grealish, Aston Villa fans must be loving life. They've managed to keep one of the best players in the league at their club based on the fact he's a fan of their club and he was playing for his team. Yeah. Listen, he is a baller, bruv. I never used to be a big fan of his. Yeah, I just used to think, look at this little prick with his socks down low and all that. That's madness, man. Yeah, when I started watching him properly, you realise how good that boy is. He is brilliant, mate. Absolutely. But if you put him into our team, would he be that brilliant? Probably not.
Not at the moment, that's for sure, you know, because we're not getting the best out of players, you know, and that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. At the moment, we're getting the best. Well, before the Aston Villa game, we was getting the best out of us defensively, organisation, structure-wise, okay. But in terms of the transition and attack, it was at the detriment of that. And I think what you just said is right. Matty Cash does make it. I look at some of the names in the summer you could have potentially got: Matt Doherty, Lamptey, Max Aarons. And over the last 6 months with Ziyech, with Ben Rama, with Van der Beek, all these players fit into our budget. You know, none of them cost more than £40 million in my, if I'm correct. None of them. You know, some of them cost as little as 12 million. Yeah. They're all within our budget. They all improve our side, and they're all something we need. And we didn't even act or move or show interest in any single one of them. You know, this Awar thing, for example, it just looked like a smokescreen now. And in hindsight, everyone bigged him up and everyone increased his profile just off a transfer rumor to Arsenal Football Club.
And the funny thing is, if you actually polled Arsenal fans, and said, how many times have you seen the guy play? Yeah, like 90 minutes outside of the 2 Champions League games he played. Everyone would go, never seen him, mate. Yeah. And that's how mad it is. Where everyone's gassing like it was the second coming of Messi. And it's like, is he actually that good? Because he's not an attacking midfielder. He's more of a Ramsey-esque type midfielder. Yeah,
and we put pressure on the players doing that. Great. No, we put pressure on players doing that. Look at Gabriel. We tracked his flight. Lee, in the 90s, a 23-year-old defender coming from another country wouldn't have got that media attention. You know, he would have come in, he would have had time to bed in, you know, learn the language a bit. He would have had no pressure. Now they're tracking flights, they're tracking Addison Lees, they're tracking all of that. For a 22-year-old French defender who hasn't even played 50 games in Europe up until he signed us, you know? So how many of these fans doing all of this madness really saw him? And it's just hinging off a lack of activity over the years that you can build excitement for this banter era age, because that's what I call this football age now. It's the banter era, because everyone's bantering everyone. Last Monday, we woke up, I opened Twitter, and you see Arsenal fans bantering United fans. Today, in the morning, Monday, I opened Twitter. 7 days later, it's the exact opposite, you know? So
they beat Everton, we beat Villa, all of a sudden. And if they win their game in hand, they're above us. This is the worst start United have had for about 50 years. Yeah. And if they win their game in hand, they're above us. And that's why I don't really go for other teams, man. Like, I don't sit there cussing other teams really, bro, because until we're good and we're top of the league and winning titles again, I don't feel I'm in a position where I can start slating other clubs. Like maybe the Burnleys and the Sheffield United, you could have go get out of the league. Yeah, I'm glad they've gone or whatever, and Stokes and stuff like that. All these Man United, Chelsea, Spurs, all that. Like, how can we have the barefaced audacity to sit there and cuss them, bro? Like,
exactly. I'll hold my own. If I'm having a debate with one, I'll hold my own. But there's not much more I can say but talk about history. And in terms of history, you know, the only one we can really, really kill off in an argument is Tottenham. You know, really put them to bed. The other ones will all have some sort of a debate and some sort of a shout. Right now, in the last 10 years, we have no shout against any of them. You know, so you are right. It's the ones below us, and even teams like Everton, Villa, Leeds, even. You know,
we got them next.
They've got something brewing. We haven't had nothing brewing for a while. You know, we've tried to make ourselves believe there's something brewing. That trust the process stuff. Do you trust
the process? Do you
what
trust
process? I don't know what the process is, mate. You know, I can't tell you. We got another super chat here quickly. Top 4 managers with a plan play Europe's best sides, and clueless us play with no plan. We play teams worth the same as a McDonald's Happy Meal. Sad. It is what it is. That's the levels that we've come to. 4 years deep in the Europa League now. We are a Europa League team.
And we've never won it.
No. You know, obviously Emery brought us to the final. You know, and then we capitulated.
Do you know what's mad though? Is like when Jose was at Man United, I think that was their first season in it, wasn't it? And then do you remember when he downed tools in the league and he said, "No, we can't get top 4. We're going all out for Europa League." I knew when he said that he was going to win it.
Yeah.
It was like, we can't get top 4. It's too much of a task to get top 4 now. It was like April, I think it was. It goes. I think they had Ajax in the final. I can't remember who they had in the semi-final, but I knew he was going to win it.
Yeah.
Like, I was hoping Emery would win it, because I actually think Emery's a decent manager. I think these players snaked him. Yeah, and I think they've got a lot to answer for, some of these players. I do think at the time he should have been sacked. But looking back at it, I said it at the time, if I knew Arteta was coming in, I would have kept him. And then looking at it now, it's like, well, what's the difference? Like, since he went, like, what's changed apart from an FA Cup win? Like,
yeah, you're right. And I'm not that critical of Unai Emery either. You know, it did become untenable in the end, and it became more a push. You know, he had to go in the end, and even I agree with that. But I didn't want to push him out. I don't think he deserved the criticism he got. I think a lot of the players, like you said, down tools, a lot of the players have to hold themselves to account, and we have to hold them to account. You know, I mentioned some players that made mistakes for us over the last few weeks, and look at Wenger, Bellerin, Xhaka. Those are 2 players, Mustafi, 3 players that let Wenger down. In the big moments, the big times when the pressure was on, let Wenger down, you know, time and time again, to the point where his name was tarnished and he had to go.
In some of our biggest embarrassments as well. Like some of our biggest embarrassing defeats at Anfield and Bayern. Same with Emery. You know, we remember the Brighton game when Granit Xhaka just booted their striker and walked off like it was nothing. That cost us Champions League. Yeah,
and who's to hold to account for that now? Because they're still playing for the squad. For this
Did you hear what Granit Xhaka said? He did an interview the other day, yeah? Bro, I swear, I'm sweating with these lights on, you know. Yeah, man did an interview the other day for some German outlet or something, yeah? How convenient. It drops the day of the game against Villa. Yeah. Oh, my head was not at Arsenal. I was ready to go, blah, blah, blah. But then Arteta came in and made me wanted and loved, and I decided to stay. Yeah. Then he got benched. Maybe we missed him yesterday. I don't know. I don't rate him one bit. I don't like the fact that he's still here after telling us all to jog on. Do you know what I'm saying? I thought if that was a different era, a different regime, mate, he would have been binned. He would never have played for this club again.
That's all part of the commercial aspect now. Listen, there's over 1,100 people here, so make sure you hit that like button, people. Like, share, subscribe, do all of that stuff. Tag it in the stories, Instagram, Twitter, all of that. And it's just another disappointing result, Lee. And it's just deflating again. But where do we go from here? There's 2-week international break. What do you expect to see in the first game back against Leeds? What do you expect, as Arteta likes to put it? I'm going to give you, what is the non-negotiable for you for the starting lineup?
I like that. Non-negotiable. I don't want to see Bellerin start that game. I don't want to see Lacazette up front. I don't want to see Tierney at centre-back. I don't want to see Rob Holding. Yeah, I was shocked that he even started. I know Luiz got a knock and he was on the bench, but when you can see that Rob Holding's getting a run around, and I don't necessarily blame Rob Holding 100%. When you've got that right back next to you, I've said this all summer, all season and last season, whoever plays next to Bellerin at right centre-back is getting exposed differently all season, which in a way is kind of good that Saliba's not played. Yeah, because that would have been him. And we would have been going, boy, we've spent 30 million on some fraud here. Do you know what I'm saying? So luckily, maybe that's why he's not playing. Maybe the manager knows. I don't know. Maybe
Arteta doesn't, as much as Arteta picks him week in, week out this season, towards the end of last season, Arteta really stuck it on Bellerin. When Cedric came in, he said that Cedric's the best attacking fullback. The beginning of the season, Arteta said Bellerin basically insinuated he wanted to leave, or he considered leaving, and he decided to fight. All of a sudden, he's first team week in, week out. But yeah, I agree with you there. Sorry to cut you off, but I agree.
No, it's cool, man. I just look at it and I think like it's kind of funny because so many Arsenal fans that I see, and I see some in the chat as well, and it's not a dig at them, but I see so many Arsenal fans sitting there like lauding up Bielsa. Well, Bielsa's basically Unai Emery. Yeah? Concede 3, score 4. Concede 4, score 3. Yeah? Concede 4, score 1. Next week, go and win 4-1. Like, he's basically Unai Emery at Leeds United, but because it's Leeds United, not the Leeds United of the old days where they were a top team, but because they're just promoted Leeds United. Oh, he's great. Well, if we were doing that, everyone would be going mad like they did with... But non-negotiable, bruv. Laka can't start that game. I want to see Aubameyang down the middle. I want to see Bellerin dropped. I want Maitland-Niles in there. I want to see Rob Holding out the team. I think we look better with David Luiz, and I don't even rate David Luiz. I want to see Tierney at left back in a back 4. I want to see this back 5 rubbish. Don't care if we're away. It's Leeds United. Yeah, they're going to come and have a go at us. Yeah, so we need to be going that way real quick. Pepe needs to start the game instead of Willian. And if Partey's injured, I don't know how long he's out for. I haven't seen anything saying how long he's out for. But if that's the case, we've got a massive dilemma in midfield.
Let's assume he's back. Who's the two? Who would you play with him?
If he is back,
yeah,
probably Willock.
Yeah,
probably Willock, and people are going to get onto me for that because defensively, without the ball, he's crap. Yeah, with the ball, he holds onto it too long. But he is that driving force that can get in the box, and he can make stuff happen. You know, he can chip in with goals and assists, and off the ball, like I said, he's rubbish. I remember when we played Norwich last season, I think it was, both of their goals, he was just jogging, bruv. Yeah, but I'm sick of seeing Dani Ceballos. I can't lie. Yeah, I am sick of seeing that guy. That guy, when last season, yeah, he had 2 good months out of the whole year. He went on holiday for 3 weeks, come back, and then he had a couple of good games, and now he's disappeared again. That's him. And he thinks he can get in Madrid and Spain's teams. He's on crack, bruv. He can't even get an FP team.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said in the summer. You know, he didn't do enough for me last season for me to be gassed this summer about him coming back. You know, that he's not the answer to the problems we have. He wasn't the answer last year. So what makes him the answer this year? You know, we didn't have Partey last year, so our midfield was even worse. So for someone to stand out in it would have been easier. The way Partey stood out in the first 90 minutes against United, and even in points in the first 45 against Villa, shows you he's a cut above the rest. I don't think Ceballos has shown that more than, like you said, maybe a 4 to 6 week period throughout last season, maybe the beginning of this season. It's not good enough. But us as fans, you know, expectations, standards lowered. We got a super chat here from Mustafa, a Chelsea fan. Don't rate Lampard, but at least he got Champions League with a transfer ban. And he lost Hazard. Don't tell me this Arsenal can't get top 4. No excuse. And what it is as much as Lampard's achievement last year was great, because it was, in the first 7 months of the season, he done very well. It petered out, but with a young squad and without a transfer window, I understand that. And he still grasped top 4. But it was a bit of a mess at the end. And I mean the end of the season, the top 4 battle. Arsenal had a chance, Leicester had a chance, United, Tottenham, various clubs had a chance. And you was the pick of the bunch at that time. You know,
he was the best of a bad lot. Leicester capitulated.
Exactly. Do you remember?
From Leicester, they were nailed on for it at one point, weren't they?
Yeah.
And then he scraped over the line. Them and United, they just scraped over. But he did do well.
Yeah, he did do well. I'm just saying he did do well 100%. I'm just saying it's not cut and dry like that for me to say Arsenal can make top 4, because me saying that relies on other teams' failures.
Well, let's be real. As poor as Man City have been this season, they're getting top 4. Yeah, I'll be amazed if they don't get top 4. Liverpool are in the title charge. We know that already. Yeah, Tottenham, they're looking all right at the moment. Leicester are looking good. I don't think they've quite got enough when you get deeper into the Europa League like they are. But saying that, Tottenham's squad, I think, is a bit bigger. They've got a lot more quality deeper down compared to Leicester. And then you've got Chelsea, and if they click, they can run away with a title. I genuinely believe that, mate. Yeah, if they start clicking, they win a title. Yeah. And then you go further down, and then it's us, it's Wolves, it's like even Palace, bruv. Like, you know, how's Roy Hodgson, about 900 years old, bruv, like slapping up Man United at Old Trafford 2 seasons running? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's mad.
I think you're right with the Chelsea, because you just said if they click, they can do it. And I predicted second this season for them, and that was before the start of the season, and everyone laughed about it. But look how Ziyech's come into the squad. Pulisic hasn't really returned properly yet. He's back out with injury. We haven't seen Pulisic and Ziyech really on form together, with Werner up top. Werner's been moved out left because Pulisic is injured and Abraham gets a nod up front. But when it all clicks, like you said, Havertz in behind, Kante behind, Kovacic behind. Yes, their defense is shaky, but at the same time, you know, this season, it doesn't look very much like the defense is going to matter. It looks like a pretty much gung-ho season where goals are going in left, right, and centre. Liverpool themselves have conceded like 15 goals this season.
Yeah. And the thing with Liverpool as well, I think Trent's out injured now.
It looks like it, yeah.
I think he's out. Obviously, Van Dijk's out for the season. Fabinho's out.
Crazy.
You know, that's why I'm saying, like, I think Liverpool will probably still win it. Yeah, I think they've got too much, just about too much. But like I said, don't rule out Tottenham. Yeah, and if it gets to a point where they're deep in the Europa League, but they're top of the league by 6 points or something, Tottenham, with 10 games to go, trust, he's fucking Europa League off, bruv.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, bruv? We see this at Chelsea, bruv. He came into Chelsea after 50 years of not winning a title, and they won a title. Them lot have gone 50 odd years, man. I'm bricking it, bruv. I can't lie. They're looking sick at the moment, and they don't look like they're going to concede either. I know it was only West Brom at the weekend, but they found a way. Yeah, the other week they're slapping goals in for fun. That front three they've got.
And against Brighton, they found a way. Was it Brighton where it was 2-1? I think.
Yeah, Brighton. Yeah, last minute or last couple of minutes or whatever it was. I know they capitulated against West Ham, but this is like what I find funny. Like you said, Arsenal getting top four relies on other teams, but our biggest wins are other teams' losses and failures. So like when they were 3-0 up Tottenham the other day, we all had a little chuckle and all that, Bro, I've seen people going into meltdown. Oh, he's just lost a 3-0 lead to West Ham. And it's like, you do know, that they should have battered us at the Emirates. If Antonio puts his chances away, we lose that game. At least they went 3-0 up against them. We haven't even scored 3. Well, when was the last time we scored 3 goals total?
It's true.
9 all season, and 3 of them were first day.
It's true. It's true.
They're scoring goals for fun.
They are, and the Kane and Son on form, I think the top 2 goal contributions in the league so far are both from Tottenham. So obviously it doesn't make for good reading for an Arsenal fan. It's sad to say, it's frustrating to say, because we've had to say it before in the past 5 years. This ain't the first time we've had to say it. Victor, we've got another super chat. Do you believe the entire hierarchy needs to change? A big club wouldn't pluck Arteta out of his house by midnight when Ancelotti was an option, or wouldn't accept Willian on a 3-year deal. You know what it is? And this is why I asked Lee earlier. Obviously, if you've just tuned in, because there's a lot of people on that, make sure you hit the like button. But this is why I asked Lee earlier that, does he have faith that if Arteta was to move on like he wants, will they be able to replace him adequately? In my opinion, never. I don't think they're going to bring in a manager that we are going to be happy with. And by we, I think me and Lee. Because when Unai Emery got sacked, I was a big advocate for Pochettino. Lee, I forgot who it was for you. Was it Mourinho?
Jose, Simeone.
And you can see why. You can see why those names are a choice for you. Simeone was another one. I've been a massive fan of Simeone for years. And these are names you can trust because you've seen them do it in some way, shape, or form. That's why we mentioned these names. Now, if Arteta was to go now, Lee, you just mentioned maybe about 10 minutes ago, you said, obviously, after Unai Emery, we moved on to Arteta, but a year later, it's no better, if not worse. My worry is that we move on from Arteta, we get in I can't even think of a name, but we get in another manager that...
Eddie Howe.
Let's say an Eddie Howe. Let's just say an Eddie Howe. We get in an Eddie Howe in a year's time, we're just like, we should have stuck with Arteta,
Finger back.
We're just start rewinding the clocks back and back. That's all we've been able, we can do as Arsenal fans. All we have is the memories and history to fall back on.
Luckily, thank God. Yeah, thank God. I have seen us win so many titles and trophies, man. So I don't see us winning any in the future.
I hope and pray we do, man. Before I die, please God, let's just win one more league title. That's all I want to see us. I just want to do it again. If I knew that last one was our last one, I would have cherished it.
Would you take Poch right now? Would you bin him off and go and get Poch? Or would you give him a little bit more time and say, it's only one mad result. We move and see what happens?
You know why? If you ask me right now and it could be done, I'd say, bring in Poch, because he's someone that's worked under these limitations, if not worse, and made it happen, and that's what we need. I know we both agree on the board and the problems there, but the manager at times, if you're lucky, can make it work. Like Klopp made it work at Liverpool, and like Poch made it work at Tottenham, both under restrictions, but both made it work in their own way, shape, or form. If we can get in a manager like that, then it makes sense because the evidence is there, Lee. So I'd say,
See, I never... When Emery went, I was like, no, I don't really want Poch, bruv. Not for me, But the more I think about it now, after seeing the whole year of this manager nearly, I'm like, boy, this guy's still not got a job. And if you noticed, he's conveniently plotting up in the Sky Studios now. Hello, I'm available. If Man United want me, come get me. If Chelsea want me, I'm here. Obviously, Chelsea have pulled out a few results since then, so I think that's off the radar. But I think I would take him. I think I would. He got that lot to a final, mate, Champions League final. And let's be real, it weren't a penalty. No, it was never a penalty, I don't think.
No.
I don't know. The one thing I will say is he weren't ever scared to drop players at Tottenham. But is he going to take you to that level that we want to be? I don't think so. He's never won a trophy, which is always going to be a stumbling block because you don't know what it takes to win that trophy because you've never won one. So I don't know. I look at it and I think Rafa Benitez, bruv, that's got to be the one right now. Maybe Allegri. Allegri's sat doing nothing. Do you know what I mean?
That's true. Rafa's out there, Allegri's out there. We got another super chat from Niraj Gupta. Thank you, bro. Lee and Turkish, the YouTube community needs you guys. The real has become rare. Too much pollution of trollers and yes men. Big up and good evening. So thank you for that. Very nice indeed. What we got left? We got about 15 minutes left, people. What are you saying? We're done on Arsenal. We could go on. You know, we haven't touched.
Yeah, we can see it for hours, bro. Yeah, fuck Arsenal.
Let's move on to that Man City Liverpool game and give me your thoughts about that, because obviously that, 1-1.
Mate, the missed chances in that game were mad. Yeah,
end to end from the get-go.
Oh, yeah, it was a good match, really good match. Yeah, I'm still not convinced that was a penalty for Liverpool, but it was a good penalty. Yeah, Salah's penalty, good penalty. Jesus, do you think he meant that? I think he did. I thought that was just brilliant, bruv. He absolutely spun Trent. That was just a great bit of skill for me. And then he was so quick to react because obviously that's why I think he knew what he was doing because he was so quick. Yeah. And
I think so. He improvised well. I think, in the moments when everything's moving so fast, like I've played ball, you've got to do what you got to do. And when you've got technique like he does.
It just goes to show, when was the last time we see Lacazette do something like that? Like, my man's been out injured for months, mate, He's come back, bang, goal against Liverpool. And then, obviously, De Bruyne, I think he's the best midfielder in the world. I can't lie. That was one of the worst penalties I've seen for him.
I know. And the camera angle was from right behind. The one
what's the camera angle all about? Trying to build it up to make it seem like more spectacular. Like, what's that all about? Putting it up high. You know when you're in the games, innit? They have the thing, it zooms down. It's like a ball, innit?
Yeah.
That's what they did, but they've done that deliberately to build up the tension.
The theatrics. I can't
believe he missed it. I'm like, bruv, at least hit the target. And then right at the death, there was another chance. Who was it right at the death for City that missed that sitter? I think that was that Jesus? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either,
But Trent had a free kick just over the bar. Near. That was a really good game. And do you know
anyone could have grabbed it. Anyone could have taken it.
Draw was probably fair. But you know what? That's probably a better result for Man City than it is Liverpool, because Man City have not been great this season so far.
No.
So for them, even though they're at home, for them to get a draw against Liverpool, they're probably happy with that. And Liverpool are probably happy because it keeps the same distance between them. But yeah, it was a good game, man. I really enjoyed that. And
so did I, man. As a neutral, sometimes obviously watching Arsenal is stress, as it was yesterday. So sometimes watching other footballs, it's good to watch, especially a top of the table clash like that.
You see the difference in levels, isn't it? It's just mad. It's so quick, bruv. I love watching Mane, bruv. That guy is so technically gifted. It is unbelievable. And he's so quick with what he does. He's already thinking about it. Like I see him the other day. I can't remember what game. I think it was Champions League game they played. He had 3 players around him. He's doing little drag backs, back heels. I'm like, bruv, you got 3 man. He run off with the ball.
Yeah, he just thinks it over and then he just
Yeah, he's gone. I was just like, wow, man.
He's one of the most all-round wingers in the league, definitely. Maybe even the world.
Them 2 teams, though, and you just look at them and you think, like, even though City have been poor this season, you think, fucking hell, this is the level we're trying to get to, man. And even though they've both not been great so far, they're light years gone, mate. They're gone. Them 2 are so good. It's mad.
100%. Like, I look at Man City's team now and I'll say that it doesn't look like a title-winning team. But if you ask me in comparison to Arsenal, they are head and shoulders above, which goes to show where we are as a football club. We've got another super chat just flying in. Elliot says, love this channel. Big up you too. Thank you very much, bro. Someone said Mane is ridiculous, and he is. And they've got a lot of ridiculous players. Look at Jota, for example, another shrewd side.
40 million quid. He walks in our team.
Yeah, could we not have done with a player like that who potentially can play on the left while Oba goes up top, or can play up top while Oba stays on the left?
Or play at number 10.
All of it.
I loved watching him at Wolves. When we came back into football in June, and my missus is from Wolverhampton, and her old man supports Wolves. I was in lockdown with him, man. It was like, fucking hell, man. I was getting bantered every day, bro, because they were like, They're loving their team, they're loving their manager, they're loving all their players, and there's me sitting there hating on everything. It was crazy. But every time they played out of lockdown, I was like, why is Jota on the bench? Like, I didn't get it. I don't get what Nuno was doing. Like, he kept putting him on the bench, but maybe they knew he was going. So maybe I don't know. Maybe there was that deal already in principle. I don't know.
I think Nuno's a bit like, he's a bit of a tinkerer, you know, at times too. Because look, Traore's not in the squad now, and it's Neto and Podence. So it's like at times he changes it up, and I'm not sure why.
He does give him a run though. That's what I like about him. If he does drop you for someone else, you ain't going back in the next game. You're getting 5-6 games now. Yeah, I do like that. We should start doing that. We
need that. You know who needs that the most? Nicolas Pepe. I said it earlier on my channel. I mean, he hasn't played 5 games in a row for us. Willian started all Premier League games for us this season. He started every single one. He hasn't done anything since Fulham.
He hasn't scored a goal for us.
Exactly. 2 assists against Fulham, you know, 1 contentious one. And that is literally it. But Nicolas Pepe doesn't get his chance. So you're right. I like the way Nuno does approach it, because Traore gets a chance. Neto, Podence, Jota when he was there. Jimenez is the mainstay, but that's understandable. He was the big money signing, and he's, you know, the pinpoint striker up top. And talking about Wolves, obviously they're not really the same team they was last season. They lost 1-0 away to Leicester. Do you think Leicester are going to be in and around top 4 again this season? Or? Yeah,
I do. I think Cengiz. Did I say it right?
Yeah, Cengiz. Yeah.
See,
my man.
I'm learning every day, bro. He's been brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant. I know he's been on the bench a few times, but he's been brilliant since he's come to them. Tillemans, bruv, what a footballer. Like, how much they pay for him? 30 million?
30, 40, 30, I think. Yeah, 40.
Yeah, then they've got Maddison. They've got Vardy. They've got the Mbappe as centre-backs, which we thought we had.
They got Harvey Barnes as well. He's quality too.
Exactly. They've got a wicked team.
Jose Perez. Fucking hell.
Yeah, Jose Perez has done bits for them. Soyuncu's done bits for them. Did I pronounce that one right?
Soyuncu. That one's hard.
Okay, I'm getting there. But no, they've got a sick team, mate. Their goalkeeper, let's be real, their goalkeeper's so underrated, it is unreal. He's a top keeper, mate.
Yeah. Pereira, the right back, quality.
I think they've got a chance at top 4. I think they'll be really going for it this season as well, because they fucked it last season. They should have got it last season. Yeah. And the fact that they're in Europa League, they're a threat in Europa League. Let's have that right. If we get them in Europa League, we're in trouble.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, definitely. Even Justin, I just remember Justin's another young one coming through too. He looks good
in the chat as well. Castagne, great signing for them so far.
And they've got a few injuries. Ndidi, Soyuncu, they've had a few injuries, and they're still doing better than we are. You know, imagine we had a few injuries on top of what we're selecting right now.
Bro, we'll be sat down there with Burnley in them ones, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Sheffield United. Imagine if Aubameyang got injured, or like Partey's obviously out. I don't know how long for, but can you imagine if Partey, Aubameyang, and Gabriel are out injured for the same period at the same time? We're fucked.
And that's exactly what's happened at Leicester. You know, exactly what's happened at Leicester, and they're still managing to do their thing. We got another. Man said, Nuno, any relation to you, Turkish? A few people have said that, young Nuno, but no relation at all. I don't know. Ask Nuno, has he got any Turkish in him? Thoughts on Edu, Lee, Victor, another super chat. He seems like a fraud to me.
I don't trust him. I genuinely do not trust him. Good player back in the day. More of a utility man for us back then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But he was one of them who'd never let you down when he played. But for me, bruv, to give him a job of that magnitude, I'm sorry, no. Especially with a manager with no experience. If you're giving him that job and you've got a board above you and an owner above you that's maybe a Chelsea-style board and owner with a Lampard, then cool. Or Arteta, should I say, then cool. Because you know the people above him are going to do the bits, But when you're putting him in charge, and then you've got a rookie manager, you've got an owner who couldn't care less, and you've got a board who are fucking half gone already.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's just a recipe for disaster. I don't like listening to him. I think he's got that slimy element about him. He just seems a little bit, I wouldn't say arrogant. Just seems like he's a little bit slippery. You can't trust him. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, we're not bringing anyone with a reputation in. You know, we're not bringing anyone that demands anything. We're bringing in people, that are lucky to have the job they're being offered.
Long.
And that goes to Arteta and Edu too, and Vinay. You know, Vinay was marketing for like 8 years at this club, and now he's what, chief executive officer, COO, or whatever he is. You know, we've got a novice Vinay, we've got a novice in Edu, and we've got a novice in Arteta, and we've got a board that they might not be novices in ownership, but they are novices in the game of soccer, as they like to call it. You know, and that's the biggest problem we've got. You know, Neftali, super chatting, loving your flow, gents. Turk, Arteta said some players need to play, yes or yes. If he's referring to players like Laka, Willie, and Bell, what does that say about Arteta's trust in our youth? And Martinelli, I haven't heard that quote, but if he's saying there's certain players that have to play, and he's talking about
his post match, he says some players have to play.
Well, if he's talking about them, we will see a post international break, because like Lee said, I didn't get a chance to agree or disagree, but I agree with Lee. Post international break, the non-negotiables is Lacazette dropped, Bellerin dropped. I want to see Pepe in for Willian, or whether in for Willian or Willian gets pushed into another position. I don't mind, but I want to see Pepe starting. And those are the non-negotiables. Obviously, if Arteta said that and you're saying he said that, then if I see Lacazette play again, if I see Willian play again and Bellerin play again, then the pressure is going to mount. And I hope he doesn't, because like with Unai Emery, it become untenable at the end. As much as I didn't want to say Emery out, in the end, it had to be done. But with Arteta, same thing. I feel like the problems are above. I don't trust them to get the right man in. I wouldn't be surprised if we got an Eddie Howe next, or a Chris Wilder or someone like that, which would fuck us even more. That's why I'm hesitant to say it, and I'm just trying to focus on what I've focused on for years. You know, Lee, like you already know.
Mad. Man in the chat said, ask Everton versus United. Did you watch that game?
Yeah. I did.
I've seen a lot of people, right? It's funny how things go. I've got a few Everton fans that subscribe to this channel. Yeah, they jumped in the chat earlier. They were like, we love Ancelotti. We love him. They've lost 3 in a row, bro, and they're still loving life. They're like,
because they know what it is for them.
Yeah, they're punching, bro, with that manager. No disrespect to Everton. I like Everton as a football club. Yeah, they are punching with Ancelotti and James Rodriguez all day long. Yeah. But Man United, they're lucky bastards, that club, bro. Yeah, I swear. They're not lucky in terms of the way they won that game, because I think they deserve to win it, yeah? Right? But they're lucky in terms of all their fans were sitting there like, yo, yeah, this is the day we get piped and Ollie gets sacked. Yeah. Then they go and turn up. Yes. It's like Everton about it. So they're sitting there thinking, fuck, we've got to wait another week now. 2 weeks now, isn't it? But that game was a pretty good game, actually.
I'm surprised as well, because like you said, like every time it seems Ole's time is up, he just pulls one out of the bag, or pulls a few out of the bag. I'm all for it, because you mentioned it with Chelsea earlier. They're like a manager, like if they find consistency this year, they're happy with Lampard. If they don't, they're a manager change away from really winning the league title. I feel maybe not as much so with United, but United are a manager away from improving a hell of a lot than they have been over the last couple of years. Pochettino and Nagelsmann, they changed them tenfold in the next year or two. So as much as I want, the inconsistency to continue, I look at them Man United fans that saw Ole save his job, and I have to smile, because they are stressed at the moment. They do really want him out, no direction.
They do, bro. I was watching you and Rance the other night, bro. Man's fuming, bro. He's sitting there going, yo, and I watched another show he did. I think he was with Saeed. Yeah. And he goes, no, I'm sick of it. He goes, I don't even care if we win the league or something, he said. And he was just like, I don't care if we win the league. I still want him gone. I was like, that's yeah, but that's the dream, though, isn't it? You got to have that same energy. If you say something, you got to stick to it.
Yeah, stick to your guns. Obviously, if opinions can change.
Results. Do you know what I'm saying?
Opinions can change, but opinions only change over a period of time. Opinions don't change weekly or monthly. Maybe after a few years you can change your opinion. With hindsight. We got another super chat from Jack. Appreciate it, bro. Big up both of you for the good show. Appreciate everyone tuned in. There's still over 1,000 people. Hit the like button if you haven't already. And Jack says, where do you see Arsenal in 5 years? And we'll wrap it up with that question, Lee. Where do you see Arsenal in 5 years? So 2025 January, where are we in the league?
Liquidated. Just pack up shop, bro. We're going to support Barnet or something. No, all jokes aside, where do I see us in 5 years? Arteta ain't going to be here. Most of these players, I hope, won't be here. All the comments are saying championship,
Fucking hell.
Bro, I don't know. Listen, I am so blessed I've seen us win 5 titles, in my lifetime, because I genuinely don't think we're going to win one for the next 20 years. Yeah, as it stands. Like you said, the whole structure from top to bottom, it's a mess. So in 5 years, probably still pouncing around in the Europa League, if we're lucky.
Yep. Well, you know, Lee, I can't really add any more onto that. I can't even guess what's going to happen next month or next year, let alone 5 years from now. I think I agree with you. Most of the players need to be moved on. Arteta, God only knows. If Arteta's still here, we better have 3 league titles under our belt in the next 5 years, because that's the only way that would make sense. But yeah, don't ask me that question. Like Lee, I'm just happy for 20 years ago. I'll just wait and see what happens moving forward. But Lee, thanks obviously for giving me the platform and for being my guest for the first few weeks. You'll be back again next week, I think, and then we'll start bringing other guests onto the show. But yeah, what are you saying for the rest of the night?
I'm chilling, bruv. I'm probably going to watch a couple of YouTube videos, build the missus up, and I'm going to have an early night. I'm on with Claude tomorrow on Claude's channel, 11:30 UK time. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you subscribe to Turkish's channel as well. The link is in the title. Yeah, just click the @ in the title of this video. It takes you straight to Turkish's channel. Just press subscribe.
We've got an expert here, man. I didn't even know you could do that, but yeah, make sure you do that.
Yeah, if you're going live with someone, so you see when you have rants on, or rants as you on, when you write the title out, you can do it on StreamYard, but what you're best off doing is going into the studio on YouTube. Just go into the details of it, press the space, press the @ and then type in rants, and it'll come up with his channel, bro. Yeah, just click on it. And he can do likewise to you. So yeah, man. But yeah, batter the likes up, and we're gonna bounce. Thanks again, mate.
Trust me, no worries, man. No worries. Thanks for giving me the platform. And people, we are out until next Monday. I'll be back here. Obviously, check Lee and Claude out tomorrow and subscribe to my channel. We are